My name is Freya and welcome to my channel. So today I will be talking about the 8 things you can do to simplify your life even more and in a sense of making your workflow better or just your flow in general. You don't need to be working. I've decided to make this a series, this simplifying your life, just because I really enjoyed making the previous video, which you can find up here, and I really enjoyed making that, and there are just some general tips in there, and I will make more in-depth video about the subjects up there. I'm now making a more in-depth video about workflow and how you can make that better. Increasing your workflow, it may not be something that it may not seem like something that immediately makes you feel better, but it actually is, because if your workflow is better, you get things done quicker, which makes more time for you to spend on the things you love doing, and so you basically make time where previously you would have none. It's like somebody works 90 hours on finishing a certain project and you do it in 30 hours, so you basically just made 60 hours out of nothing. So where the other person lost 60 hours to procrastination and stuff, okay, 60 hours is maybe a bit long, but it's just an example, and you just won that 60 hours and that you now can spend on things you love doing and things you actually enjoy. I also want to say that this is by no means something that will fix your life, and if you have a more serious problem, I really would recommend you check out an actual health professional. Also, this list is in no particular order, I just wrote it down and I'm working with that. So grab yourself a drink. I just have some water. Get comfy and let's begin. So the first thing is to make smarter to-do lists, and you can do this by making your to-do lists more reasonable and just make them look better. And you can obviously make a to-do list in your phone or on your computer or on paper, whatever you want, but if you're doing it on your phone, you can use some smileys and stuff, and if you do it on paper, you can draw and doodle a bit there, and that can really just make it a lot more pleasant to make your notes. Put in a time estimate, just so while you're doing it, you know, this is the time I should be working on this and this is the time I expected it, and so if you're working more than that, you should stop, leave it for tomorrow and do your other thing. And also you should just check every hour whether you're on your schedule, and if you're not, you should just stop whatever you're doing, push it to the next day, and this will just skyrocket your productivity, just because you don't get stuck on this one thing for too long. Something I would also recommend is making your list the day before, just because you will fall asleep easier because you know what you have to do tomorrow and you feel like you've got it planned out and you feel like you're ready for it. And also when you wake up, you will feel like you have a clear goal and you have a clear plan, and so you're skyrocketing your productivity again. Okay, so my next thing is to stop procrastinating. And you want to stop procrastinating just so you can spend the time doing the things you love. So if you are procrastinating by watching this video, I would recommend you to just click away, get started on it, get started on whatever it is you need to do, and then come back and watch a bit more. No, just go do whatever you need to do and then you can relax. I'm not saying you need to just be working every single day until 10 p.m. I'm just saying that if you work a reasonable amount every day and then you get to relax, that will make you feel a lot better. If you get your stuff done, then you get to spend your time on things you actually want to spend it on. And so procrastinating is something that just steals your time. It steals time. It doesn't, because normally when you're procrastinating, you're doing other things that are pleasant, but you're not really doing things that will give you anything. Okay, so my third thing is set clear and reasonable schedules. And this also counts for to-do lists. You don't want to over set yourself with things. People then often say 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of doing whatever you want. I need to sleep more, so I sleep longer. I just need to sleep longer. Just make sure that you don't overdo yourself. If your schedule is too full, you probably won't even do it. If your to-do lists are too full, you probably won't even do it. So I would say don't overdo it. Don't overbook yourself. Don't do anything of that matter. Okay, so my next tip is cultivate habits that are good for you. So you want to make sure that your habits, your routines, the things you're doing are things that are good for you in the long run. You want your habits to serve you. You want your routines to serve you. You want them to be good for you. It is sometimes quite hard to find out what are habits that are working for you, and these habits are often also coping mechanisms, so mechanisms that you can fall back onto when you need to, just when you need to. And these good habits can function as good coping mechanisms, and so eventually if you have certain bad coping mechanisms that you no longer want to do, you can just replace them with good habits. And so that's something I would highly recommend, just knowing what your habits are and then just getting on with it, doing it today and keep doing it just for as long as is good. And you don't want to give up after 2 days or a week. You want to do it for at least 21 days, because it's proven by science that if you do a habit for 21 days, it's easier to keep doing it. And only after 21 days the habit really has gotten into your brain, into your neural pathways. And so yeah, that's how habits work. So this kind of ties in with my next thing, which is don't let it pile up. If you do something 20 minutes a day, that will be more efficient than doing something every week for 2 hours. Small amounts are always easier to take on than big amounts. And so to give a clear example, this could be cleaning up your kitchen every day for 20 minutes. That will have a bigger impact than cleaning up every week for 2 hours. It just is a fact, and you will go to sleep every day with a clean kitchen, and so you are not letting it pile up, and so that makes it easier to maintain. It's not about the duration, it's about the frequency. If you do something every single day, that will have a bigger impact than if you do it for 2 hours every weekend. Not letting things pile up will make doing said thing easier, and will make this step to go and do it a lot smaller. If you don't let things get big, you will be able to more easily tackle them. And that's something that really, just taking on small things is a lot easier than taking on hard things, and so you just don't want them to get big. Okay, so the next thing is to batch similar tasks together, and this is just making sure that your focus is in the same room all the time. Batching similar tasks together, this could be if you're going out outside to buy groceries, you might as well just blah 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 blah. You don't need to go out 5 times this week if you could just do it on one day and say, I'm going to tackle this in this certain shop somewhere. You know, it's easier to, once you're out, it's easier to stay out than to come back and then need to go out again, you know? So you might as well just do all these tasks you need to do in one take. And this also works inside, when you're doing things inside. So once you've sat down to do something and you're finished with it and you need to do something else, you want to make sure that you don't need to change rooms all the time. Just when you're doing things, stay in the same room, finish it, and then go away. Because if you're going to other rooms all the time, you're breaking your focus every single time. So if you stay in the same place, your brain will have it a lot easier to keep focusing on this one task you need to do, and so that will be a lot more beneficial because your focus isn't broken, and so you don't need to make a lot of effort to build it up again. And also with batching similar tasks together, you're literally not wasting time by moving around. Like, if you're doing something here, and then you need to go to the kitchen, and then you need to go to the living room, you're wasting time. Just do everything you need to do in the kitchen, and then go to the living room. Like, you're not wasting time moving around, just stay in this one place. And that's the same with going out, getting back, going out again, getting back. You're wasting time like that. Just go outside, stay outside until you've done everything you can do, and then come back again. And this also brings me to my next point, which is single tasking. Multitasking is not productive at all. It's not. It just is not. So the reason that this is not productive is because your brain is not focusing on two things at once. It's jumping back and forth. So it literally doesn't know what it needs to focus on, and so it's just doing this. Or maybe... You see, I can't even do this with my arms. So your brain is very exceptional that it can do this all the time. And so you keep jumping back and forth between activities, and this breaks your focus each and every single time. And so it's hard, it takes so much energy to just build up your focus again, and so you just don't want to break it. And so you just want to single task, focus on one task at a time in the same room. This batching similar tasks together and single tasking, it goes hand in hand, you know. You want to single task all the tasks in a certain room and then go on to the next thing, because you will, once you're single tasking, you will get things done a lot quicker. Your focus will be on point. Why was I in this room? And then you go away, you come into another room, and oh yeah, I needed some scissors. That doesn't happen if you're single tasking. Your brain will try to do these both things, but in the end you basically won't be able to do any of them properly. It will take a lot more time, it will take a lot more effort, you won't be able to focus, and neither of the activities will be done in a proper way. It's useless to multitask, and by this I mean, imagine that you're talking to a friend on the phone, and at the same time you're watching a YouTube video. That will not work, or you didn't hear what the person was saying, or you didn't see what was on that video. Like, try it and you will notice that you just can't. You can't focus on two things at the same time. It's just a given fact, and that's not a burden. You just need to work with it. To focus on one thing. Also, if you're calling someone, it's really rude to just be watching a YouTube video. Just focus on this person that's talking to you. So my last tip is reduce distractions, because once you've gotten started, you've sat down, you started studying. I'm so proud of you because it took so much. You've sat down, you started. Now you don't want to get distracted. You just want to make sure that you stay in that workflow, that you stay in this thing. And this also ties in with single tasking, because if you're focusing on this one thing, you won't be doing other things, and so you won't be distracted. So you want to make it yourself easy. You want to make it yourself easy. So you just want to make it easy for yourself. If you get distracted by your phone or your computer while you're studying, put it away. Put it away. Don't make it hard for yourself. You're just wasting time procrastinating while you could actually just get your stuff done and then do things you love doing. If you need a clean surface to work on, just throw everything off there and get started on it, and then put everything back on. So you just want to make sure that you don't lose your focus and that you don't break your concentration, and you can do this by eliminating the amount of distractions, and you can do this physically by just taking things away, making sure that you don't look at things. So maybe if you get distracted easily, sitting in front of a window may not be the best idea. Just turn it around, turn your desk around, maybe work just to a blank wall. You can make the rest of your room so aesthetically pleasing, but keep this one wall blank. just so you can work and get your stuff done. So now, to wrap it all up, here are 8 things you can do to increase your workflow. Making smarter to-do lists, stopping procrastinating so you can spend more time doing the things you love, building habits and cultivating habits that are good for you, setting clear and reasonable schedules, don't let it pile up, batch similar tasks together, single task, and finally, reduce the amount of distractions. So I hope this helped and that you learned something new. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know and write down below what your favorite idea was, and if you have something to add, definitely leave it down below so you can help the people in the comments. Please consider subscribing as it helps me out so much, and follow me on Instagram as well, where I post additional updates and where I get a bit more personal. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day and I wish you all the best. Bye loves.